Welcome back to Cord Cutting today for August 23rd, 2019. This is the show where I break down some of the biggest stories happening in the world of cord cutting right now and give you my opinion on them. If you want to learn more about these stories, in the show notes down below I'll put a link to each story so you can read them for yourself. Let us know what you think. We'll love to hear from you. If you are new here, hey, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up. Helps us a lot because it lets YouTube know you enjoy what we're doing, and hopefully we can help you break free from the high cost of cable TV. Still watch the shows you enjoy. Well, let's dive into it because there's a lot happening in the last 24 hours. Starting off with streaming services have started to really crack down on password sharing. This really came to light as part of a deal between Charter, the owner of Spectrum, and Disney that will work to fight piracy, including password sharing. Now, they haven't said why or how they're going to do that, but they are going to be cracking down. We've seen this more and more recently. We've seen things like Netflix and cracking down on some sharing. We've seen YouTube TV really start doing that and more to make it a little bit more difficult for people to share their passwords with them. Now, this is a major problem for TV companies, though some have kind of brushed it off a little bit. HBO and Netflix have for a while just kind of been like, it's not a major issue. Now even that HBO and Netflix have started to pay attention to this issue of password sharing, where you give me your password to Netflix, I give you my password to HBO Now, and we share. That means that they're getting less subscribers. So I would look for this to become more and more common. Just did a full story breaking down the fight against password sharing and other types of piracy in the show notes down below. I have a link there. She breaks down the different options there. But we've seen like YouTube TV go after services who offer to sell shared YouTube accounts to different profiles. YouTube TV's also started to crack down. If they see you are both using the same profile, but one of you is never in the same home, that's been a problem, and they're really cracking down on that. So let me know, have you run into this? Have you been getting warnings like, hey, you're not in your home network, or too many people are watching? Let me know if you run into any of these efforts to crack down on password sharing. It is kind of one of those things. It's not limited to cord cutting. This is also password sharing for like Charter and Spectrum's customers. If I'm a Spectrum customer, my friend isn't, let's just say, in a weird alternate world, I give them my TV password to Spectrum, and then they get to use it for all their TV Anywhere apps. So keep that in mind. That's the kind of thing that this will probably go after. It'll probably also relate to Disney Plus cracking down on that. All right, let me know what you think of that, and we'll keep moving. Next story up, Disney Plus is announcing their slate of original programming that will launch on the launch date in November. Jess has a story up. I'll put a link to it in the show notes down below if you want to make sure you know what's coming out day one. Now, Disney has announced a ton of original programming. Not all of it will necessarily be available day one. Today, during the D23 Expo, which is their big Disney convention in California, they have a big Disney Plus event. Leading up to it on their Twitter account, they've been slowly dribbling out different release dates for different ones, like the new live-action Lady and the Tramp, the new Star Wars live-action TV show, and more. So link in the show notes if you want to see what's coming to Disney Plus on day one. All right, next story up of the day, and let me know what you think of these titles. This post will be updated throughout the day, just to be clear, because Disney's kind of just doing a release here or a release there and different information. We'll update that post as we go on throughout the day. All right, next story up of the day, Roku has announced a new update to its stock Roku channels. So if you're not familiar with how this works, Roku has pre-made templates of Roku channels, which developers can go and say, hey, I want to create a Roku channel. I'm going to take this, upload my image, put my feeds, my different shows, kind of this pre-made package, which allows Roku channels to quickly roll out. Many people have complained that these are quite ugly, and now Roku has completely updated the new user interface and what they call the Scenic Graph Developer Extension 2.0, or also known as SGDEX 2.0. Okay, bunch of developer talk. What does this mean for you? New updated user interface, new search area, and they are even adding support for regular Roku channels to have a grid guide. So for a service maybe like Stir, which includes multiple live streams, they can now take advantage of the built-in Roku grid guide to easily have a traditional cable-like grid guide on it. They also have a new user interface. Now Disney says one of the companies already using this is Disney for their Freeform channel. If you use the Freeform Roku channel here, you're already experiencing this new look and this new feel with some of the features, but not all. Roku said it'll be very easy for existing Roku channels to upgrade to this new look and feel. Some of the other things that Roku has added to make channels more personalized is like the load screen icon. Now developers can customize that. They've added a lot of ability to support in-app subscriptions, so if you're something like a Netflix and you want to offer an in-app subscription, you can do that a little bit more easily through this system here. Roku has really kind of heard people's complaints that, hey, some of these original Roku channels are kind of ugly. They are. I mean, some you probably still have seen those old, or just a row of icons, and that's the whole channel. Those ones have mostly expired and been replaced, but there's still some older looking Roku channels out there. Now Roku says we want to make it very easy for people to create Roku channels, but we also want to make them very beautiful. So Roku has updated the user interface for that. Now these things won't happen overnight. It's kind of one of those things they've given the developers tools to do this, to make their apps more beautiful, to make the Roku channels more easier to access with better search and other features, and now they need to be added. So look for that to come, especially with new Roku channels going forward. And let me know. Take a look at the images we have in the post down below. Let me know what you think. What do you think about Roku upgrading the user interface? What do you think about Roku making an effort to be very competitive, where some people are like, Roku's great, it works fine, but it's just not beautiful. Now Roku seems to be directly challenging that idea. All right, next story up of the day. The FCC has announced $4.9 billion, yes, billion with a B, money to invest in high-speed rural internet in 13 states. This also includes money for tribal lands for Native American tribes to improve the high-speed internet there. I forget how many. I have a full list of all the tribes too that will be getting money for this. But the FCC has been handing out a lot of money to expand rural high-speed internet. The problem with rural high-speed internet, I've talked about this before, if I run a mile in a major city or even in a mid-sized city, I can sign up hundreds or thousands of customers, especially if you're in a highly dense market like New York. But even in an average, suburban town, I run a mile, I can sign up 30, 40, 50 customers. In rural areas, I may run a mile and only sign up one person or maybe no one. And I have to run miles and miles and miles of cable just to wire a few farms or a few small towns with maybe just a few hundred people in it. That makes sometimes running wire to these small markets not financially feasible for cable companies. Let's just be honest, there is a cost to do this. Now the FCC has taken money that was originally created to run telephone lines to rural America, but is still being collected today. They added a tax to your phone plan, including on cell phones, which I believe is on cell phones, maybe it's just landlines, which takes money, sets it aside to run phones to rural America. Well, most of rural America has phone lines that want it now. So the FCC has said, hey, we're going to take that money that was set aside for phones and apply it to high-speed internet, which I think is great. You have this money sitting here, not been doing anything with it for a very long time, just been accumulating. And this is a perfect time to invest it into high-speed internet. Now the FCC has said they have a goal of connecting millions of American homes, but this $4.9 billion will bring high-speed internet to 455,000 homes, 334 homes and businesses in the United States. Like I said, there's a lot of expense when you get into those really rural areas where there's just a few homes, maybe a grocery store, sometimes not even that, maybe it's just a town of 100 people or less. It's very expensive to run that out there. And now the FCC says we're going to help make that a reality. So let me know what you think of this. Leave us a comment down below. All right, YouTube TV is adding 2 new add-ons from AMC, the AMC Acorn TV service, and the UMC, which I'm blanking out what UMC stands for. Acorn focuses heavily on British and international programming, and UMC focuses on African American related programming. So, and somebody leave me a comment. I know what the AMC means, and I'm completely drawing a blank. We wrote about it in the past. Leave me a comment down in the show notes. Remind me what UMC stands for that streaming service. This is a great option. Now, there's no real discount. Both will Acorn TV will cost $6 a month. UMC will cost $5 a month if you want to have it added to your YouTube TV subscription. Now, a lot of people will say, well, Luke, why does this matter? I could subscribe directly through the apps for these services. There is something about having it all piled in one spot, right? You're watching YouTube TV, your Acorn TV content is there, your Curiosity Streams content is there. More importantly, it's one bill, right? Instead of having a different login for each one to remember, different payment options. Anybody get a new credit or debit card recently, have to go, okay, which services is this tied to right now? So I love that fact because I love the ability to have it all built together. So leave me a comment, let me know if you're using these services. If you have a quick review for anybody considering them, there are free trials for many of these. A link in the show notes down below. All right, kind of a fun little story real quick. Sling TV has conducted a survey with the Harris poll, where they surveyed 2,000 adults over the age of 18, and they found out that over half of Americans will lie to skip out on plans so they can binge watch their favorite show. So I just wanted to ask, have you done this? Have you lied to get out so you can go watch Game of Thrones or Stranger Things or wherever it may be? If so, what's your best lie? What's your best line to be like, oh, I would really love to go to little Jimmy's soccer event, but what? Let me know. I'd love to hear, what is your best excuse to get out so you can go binge watch? Or are you going to say you've never done this? And I'll believe you. I'll believe that you've never tried to get out of an event so you could watch some TV. So leave me a comment. If you want to see the full study that Sling TV did, link in the show notes down below. All right, a quick exclusive that we got from Core Cars News. Comcast's Xfinity streaming beta is coming to some LG TVs. Right now, the beta service is only available on the Comcast dedicated proprietary box, Roku, and some Samsung TVs. Now it's coming out to select Samsung TVs from 2019, 2018, and LG TVs from 2019, 2018, and 2017. Select models. I have a full list of the models in the show notes down below. Thank you to everybody who reached out to us with this information. We really do appreciate it. Now, this will work with Comcast's Instant TV, which is their streaming service. You do need to be a Comcast Internet customer to use it. But you can also use it with all Comcast TV packages. So keep that in mind. Link in the show notes down below. All right, last one up today. We've been getting a lot of questions about what is AT&T TV Now. For some people who already know that, keep on moving, but we put a complete breakdown of what is AT&T TV Now. Yes, there's a rebrand of DirecTV Now, but was there any changes? Was there anything else we should know about? Jess did a great job breaking that all out. Link in the show notes down below. So that's it for today. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. I know a lot of people have started school. I know other people are starting school next week and the week after. If you're heading out for one last Labor Day week vacation, I hope you have a fantastic week. This is traditionally kind of that weird slow time as schools get back and Labor Day comes up. Football kicks off tomorrow. So I hope everybody has a fantastic weekend. We will be here going forward. We'll be here tomorrow. We'll be here all week. So hang in there. One little insider note on the podcast. Unfortunately, Jess's internet provider in her apartment building is out. It's not just hers, it's the entire building. It's been out for about 48 hours. They say they're working on it. Unfortunately, without internet, at least reliable high-speed internet, doing the podcast is pretty much impossible. So hang in here with me. We may need to miss this week. We were hoping to get it in today, but that doesn't look like it's going to happen because the internet is still out. So keep that in mind. Apologize about the podcast not happening this week. I really hope to return to a normal schedule next week. Well, that's it. Hope you all have a fantastic week, and I hope you'll be here tomorrow for our next show. But if you're going on vacation next week, be safe, enjoy the weather, don't party too much. We'll see you back when you get home from your vacation. Take care, everybody.